Greetings everyone, my name is Gigi and this is Let's Build, wherein I build a Lego set time to different media and talk about the facts concerning the topic of the build. Today's build is the Lego Galloping Horses Canvas versus Pony Island. All footage I am using for this game is for science, educational, and research purposes. My content is transformative and protected under fair use. All footage is time-lapse with commentary. I apologize in advance for pronouncing any names or places incorrectly. Limited spoilers ahead for Pony Island. You have been warned. If you want to help me get the attention of the LEGO group, please give me a like and subscribe. I'm also using my usual speaking voice to record today, so let me know if you prefer this better or when I attempt to do my reading, more relaxing voice. Specifications of the Lego set. Celebrate Spring Festival with this Galloping Horse Canvas build and display model. A super Zodiac sign gift toy for boys, girls, and animal lovers ages 10 and up. This set lets friends, families, and kids create their own stunning horse art decor. Hang the canvas with a printed brush painting of 4 galloping horses, which symbolizes the traditional blessing of success upon arrival in the new year, as a backdrop to your model. Pose the legs of the 4 brick-built horse toys and turn the handle to make the horses move as if galloping out of the painting. Horses are a symbol of strength, and the total number of 8 depicted in the painting and model symbolize good fortune. Attach the scenic featuring minifigures of a painter and a person in the new year of the horse costume, plus a horse painting on a scroll to the model. Team up with Build Together mode in the LEGO Builder app, where everyone has fun building part of the set using their own devices. The set contains 1,650 pieces. Horse Art Decor Building Set. Bring traditional brush painting to life with this LEGO Galloping Horse Canvas building toy for the whole family to build and play with during the Spring Festival. Cultural horse painting accessory. Hang the canvas featuring a print of a traditional brush painting of galloping horses at the back of this colorful, playable display model. Playful Spring Festival decoration. Pose the legs of the 4 brick-built horses and turn the handle on the side of the model to make the horses move as if galloping out of the painting. 2 minifigures. Attach the scene featuring a painter and a person in the year of the horse costume with a horse painting on a scroll. Zodiac sign gift idea for kids. Give this LEGO building kit as a great holiday gift toy for boys and girls ages 10 and up, family, friends, and any animal lovers of horse art decor. Dimensions. This 1,650-piece galloping horse model measures over 9 inches high, 11.5 inches wide, and 12.5 inches deep. The horse is a strong and enterprising spiritual totem in Chinese culture. As the leader of the 6 domestic animals of ancient times, the horse is not only a loyal and brave partner who gallops across the world, but also a symbol of auspiciousness. As a result, horses have always been depicted in Chinese traditional paintings. In the Spring Festival, the painting with horses galloping symbolizes the progressive attitude of ringing out the old year and ringing in the new. It represents success, expressing good wishes for a new and prosperous year. Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival, marks the beginning of a new year on the traditional lunisolar Chinese calendar. It is one of the most important holidays in Chinese culture and was placed on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list in 2024. Marking the end of winter and the beginning of spring, this festival takes place from Chinese New Year's Eve, the evening preceding the first day of the year, to the Lantern Festival, held on the 15th day of the year. The first day of the Chinese New Year falls on the new moon that appears between the 21st of January and the 20th of February. For the year 2026, the Spring Festival occurs on February 17th. The Chinese New Year is associated with several myths and customs. The festival was traditionally a time to honor deities and ancestors. Throughout China, different regions celebrate the New Year with distinct local customs and traditions. Chinese New Year's Eve is an occasion for Chinese families to gather for the annual reunion dinner. Traditionally, every family would thoroughly clean their house, symbolically sweeping away any ill fortune to make way for incoming good luck. Windows and doors may be decorated with red paper cuts and couplets representing themes such as good fortune, happiness, wealth, and longevity. Other activities include lighting firecrackers and giving money in red envelopes. History. Before the New Year celebration was established, ancient Chinese gathered and celebrated the end of the harvest in autumn. However, this was not the Mid-Autumn Festival, during which the Chinese gathered with family to worship the moon. In the classic of poetry, a poem written during the Western Zhou period, from 1046 BC to 771 BC, by an anonymous farmer, described the traditions of celebrating the 10th month of the ancient solar calendar, which was in autumn. The poem described people cleaning millet sacks, offering rice wine to guests, slaughtering lambs, visiting their master's home, toasting him, and expressing wishes for longevity together. The 10th month celebration is believed to be one of the prototypes of the Chinese New Year. The records of the first Chinese New Year celebration can be traced to the Warring States period, 475 to 221 BC. In the Qin state, an exorcism ritual to expel illness was recorded as being carried out on the last day of the year. Later, Qin unified China, and the Qin dynasty was founded, and the ritual spread. It evolved into the practice of cleaning one's house thoroughly in the days preceding Chinese New Year. The practice of worshiping ancestors on New Year's Eve is maintained by Chinese people to this day. Han Chinese also started the custom of visiting acquaintances' homes and wishing each other a Happy New Year. In the Book of Later Han, Volume 27, a county officer was recorded as going to his prefect's house with a government secretary, toasting the prefect and praising the prefect's merit. During the Jin dynasty, people started the New Year's Eve tradition of all-night revelry called Shu Shui. It was described in an article by Zhao Chu, a general of the Western Jin. Notes on local traditions. At the end of a year, people gift... A general of Western Jin. Notes on local traditions. Notes on local conditions. At the end of a year, people gift and wish each other, calling it time for gifts. The article used the phrase Qu Shui to indicate New Year's Eve, a phrase still used today. A book of the Northern and Southern dynasties describes the practice of firing bamboo in the early morning of New Year's Day, a New Year's tradition of ancient Chinese. The practice was used by ancient Chinese people to scare away evil spirits, since bamboo would noisily crack and explode from being fired. During the Tang Dynasty, people established the custom of sending New Year's greetings and New Year's greetings cards. It is said that the custom was started by Emperor Taozong of Tang. The emperor wrote, "The whole nation celebrates together," on gold leaves and sent them to his ministers. Word of the emperor's gesture spread, and it later became the custom of people in general who used xuan paper instead of gold leaves. Another theory is that New Year's greetings was derived from the Han Dynasty's name tag, door opening. As imperial examinations became essential and reached their heyday under the Tang Dynasty, candidates curried favor to become pupils of respected teachers and to get recommendation letters. After obtaining good examination marks, a pupil went to the teacher's home with a door opening to convey their gratitude. Eventually, door opening became a symbol of good luck, and people started sending them to friends on New Year's Day, calling them by a new name, by Nian Tai. The Chunlian, or spring couplets, was written by Meng Chang, an emperor of the later Chu, during the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period, enjoying past legacies of the new year, the holiday foreseeing the long-lasting spring. As described by Song Dynasty official Zhang Tangying in his book Shu Tao Wu, Volume 2. On the day of New Year's Eve, the emperor ordered the scholar Xin Yunxun to write the couplets on peach wood and hang them in the emperor's bedroom door. It is believed that placing the couplets on the door to the home in the days preceding the New Year was widespread during the Song Dynasty. The famous Northern Song politician, philosopher, literateur, and poet Wang Anshi recorded the custom in his poem New Year's Day. The poem Yuan Ri also includes the words Bao Zhu, exploding bamboo, instead of the previous tradition of firing bamboo, both of which are called the same in Chinese language. After gunpowder was invented in the Tang Dynasty and widely used under the Song Dynasty, people modified the tradition of firing bamboo by filling the bamboo pole with gunpowder, which made for louder explosions. Later, under the Song, people discarded the bamboo and started to use paper to wrap the gunpowder in cylinders, in imitation of the bamboo. The firecracker was called Bao Zhu, exploding bamboo. The firecracker is still called exploding bamboo, thus equating the new and old traditions. It is also recorded that people linked the firecrackers with hemp rope and created the gunpowder whip in the Song Dynasty. Both the exploding bamboo and gunpowder whip are still in use today to celebrate Chinese New Year and other festive occasions. It was also during the Song Dynasty that people started to give money to children in celebration of the new year. The money was called the money based on age. In the chapter Ending of a New Year in Wu Lin Jiushi, concubines of the emperor prepared 120 coins for princes and princesses to wish them longevity. New Year's celebrations continued under the Yuan dynasty, where people also gave niangao, or year cakes, to relatives. The tradition of eating Chinese dumplings was established under the Ming dynasty, at the latest. Modern Chinese people also put other food that is auspicious into dumplings, such as dates, which prophesy a flourishing new year, candy, which predicts sweet days, and year cakes, which foretell a rich life. In the Qing dynasty, the name New Year's money was money given to children during the New Year's. The term is still used by Chinese people today. The money was presented in two forms: coins strung on red strings or colorful purses filled with coins. In 1928, the ruling Kuomintang party decreed that Chinese New Year would fall on the 1st of January of the Gregorian calendar, but this was abandoned due to overwhelming opposition. In 1967, during the Cultural Revolution, official Chinese New Year celebrations were banned in China. The State Council of the People's Republic of China announced that the public should change customs and have a revolutionized and fighting Spring Festival. Since people needed to work on Chinese New Year's Eve, they would not need holidays during the Spring Festival. After the Cultural Revolution ended, public celebrations were reinstated. Festivities, the preceding days. On the 8th day of the lunisolar month before Chinese New Year, the Laba Festival, a traditional porridge, laba porridge, is served in remembrance of an ancient festival called La, that occurred shortly after the winter solstice. Pickles such as laba garlic, which turn green from vinegar, are made on this day. For those who practice Buddhism, the Laba holiday is also considered Bodhi Day. La Yu is a term often associated with Chinese New Year, as it refers to the sacrifices held in honor of the gods in the 12th lunisolar month. Hence, the cured meats of Chinese New Year are known as La Rao. The porridge was prepared by women of the household at the first light, with the first bowl offered to the family's ancestors and the household deities. Every member of the family was then served a bowl, with leftovers distributed to friends and relatives. It is still served as a special breakfast on this day in some Chinese homes. The concept of La Month is similar to Advent in Christianity. Many families eat vegetarian meals on Chinese New Year's Eve, and the garlic and preserved meat are eaten on Chinese New Year's Day. On the days immediately before the New Year's celebration, Chinese families give their homes a thorough cleaning. There is a Cantonese saying, "Wash away the dirt on Ninya Bat," but the practice is not restricted to Ninya Bat. It is believed that cleaning sweeps away the bad luck of the preceding year and prepares homes for good luck. Brooms and dustpans are put away on the first day so that the newly arrived good luck cannot be swept away. Some people give their homes, doors, and window frames a new coat of red paint. Decorators and paper hangers experience a year-end rush of business before the Chinese New Year. Homes are often decorated with paper cutouts of Chinese auspicious phrases and couplets. Purchasing new clothing and shoes also symbolizes a new start. Any haircuts need to be completed before the new year, as cutting the hair on New Year is considered bad luck due to the homonymic nature of the word hair and the word for prosperity. Businesses are expected to pay off all debts outstanding for the year before New Year's Eve, including debts of gratitude. Thus, it is a common practice to send gifts and rice to close business associates and extended family members. In many households where Buddhism or Taoism is observed, home altars and statues are cleaned thoroughly, and decorations used to adorn altars over the past year are taken down and burned a week before the new year starts on Little New Year, to be replaced with new decorations. Taoists, and Buddhists to a lesser extent, will also send gods back to heaven. An example would be burning a paper effigy of the kitchen god, the recorder of the family functions. This is done so that the kitchen god can report to the Jade Emperor of the family household's transgressions and good deeds. Families often offer sweet foods, such as candies, to bribe the deities into reporting good things about the family. Before the reunion dinner, a prayer of thanks is held to mark the safe passage of the previous new year. Confucianists take the opportunity to remember their ancestors, and those who had lived before them are revered. Some people do not offer a Buddhist prayer due to the influence of Christianity, with a Christian prayer offer instead. Chinese New Year's Eve. The day before Chinese New Year is usually accompanied by a dinner feast, consisting of special meats as a main course and an offering for the new year. This meal is comparable to Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner. In northern China, it is customary to make dumplings, which are eaten at midnight. Dumplings symbolize wealth because their shape may resemble a Chinese type of gold or silver ingot currency used in imperial China. In the South, it is customary to make a glutinous New Year cake and send pieces of it as gifts to relatives and friends in the coming days. Some families visit local temples hours before midnight to pray for success and by lighting the first incense of the year. Today, many households hold parties. Traditionally, firecrackers were lit to ward off evil spirits. The household doors are sealed and not reopened until dawn in a ritual called opening the door of fortune. The tradition of staying up late on Chinese New Year's Eve is known as Xiu Sui. It is still practiced and believed to add paternal longevity. The first day. The first day, known as the Spring Festival, is for the welcoming of the deities of the heavens and earth at midnight. It is a traditional practice to light fireworks, burn bamboo sticks and firecrackers, and perform a lion dance to ward off evil spirits. Typical actions such as lighting fires and using knives are considered taboo. Thus, all consumable food has to be cooked beforehand. Using the broom, swearing, and breaking any dinnerware without appeasing the deities is also considered taboo. Normal traditions occurring on the first day involve house gatherings for families, specifically the elders and families to the oldest and most senior members of their extended families, usually parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents, and trading mandarin oranges as a courtesy to symbolize wealth and good luck. Members of the family who are married also give red envelopes containing cash, a form of a blessing and to suppress both the aging and other challenges that were associated with the coming year. To junior members of the family, mostly children and teenagers. Business managers may also give bonuses in the form of red packets to employees. The money can be of any form, specifically in numbers ending with 8, which sounds familiar to fa, meaning prosperity, but packets with denominations of odd or unlucky numbers, or packets without money, are usually not allowed due to bad luck. The number 4 is especially unlucky because it sounds similar to xi, which means death. While fireworks and firecrackers are traditionally very popular, some regions have banned them due to concerns over fire hazards. For this reason, various city governments have issued bans on fireworks and firecrackers in certain precincts of the cities. As a substitute, large-scale firework displays have been sponsored by the governments of Hong Kong and Singapore. The second day, entitled A Year's Beginning, sees married daughters visiting their birth parents, relatives, and close friends, often renewing family ties and relationships. Traditionally, married daughters didn't have the opportunity to visit their birth families frequently. The second day also saw giving offering money and sacrifices to the god of wealth to symbolize a rewarding time after hardship in the preceding year. During the days of imperial China, beggars and other unemployed people circulated from family to family, carrying a picture of the god of wealth, shouting, "The god of wealth is come." Householders would respond with lucky money to reward the messengers. Business people of the Cantonese dialect group will hold a Hoi Nin prayer to start their business on the second day of the Chinese New Year, blessing their business to thrive in the coming year. As this is the day believed to be the birthday of Che Kung, a deity worshipped in Hong Kong, worshippers go to Che Kung temples to pray for his blessing. A representative from the government asks Che Kung about the city's fortune through Kao Chim. The third day is known as Red Mouth or Red Dog Day, is an epithet of the god of blazing wrath. Rural villagers continue the tradition of burning paper offerings over trash fires. It is considered an unlucky day to have guests or to go visiting. Hakka villagers in rural Hong Kong in the late 1960s called it Day of the Poor Devil and believed everyone should stay at home. It is also considered a day to visit the temple of the god of wealth and have one's fortune told. In communities that celebrate Chinese New Year for 15 days, the fourth day marks the beginning of the corporate spring dinners and the return to normal business operations. In other regions with a longer Chinese New Year holiday, celebrations include welcoming back the gods who were previously sent off on this day. The fifth day, Pao Wu, is the birthday of the god of wealth, known as Guan Yu. In northern China, people eat dumplings in the morning. In China, it is also common that on the fifth day, people will shoot off firecrackers to get Guan Yu's attention, thus ensuring his favor and the good fortune for the new year. On the sixth day, known as the Horse's Day, people drive away the ghost of poverty by discarding the garbage accumulated during the festival. The methods may vary, but they essentially convey the same meaning: to dispel the ghost of poverty. This practice reflects the common desire among the Chinese people to bid farewell to the old and welcome the new year, to rid themselves of past poverty and hardships, and to usher in a prosperous and auspicious life in the new year. The seventh day, traditionally known as Wherein I, the common person's birthday, is the day when everyone grows 1 year older. In some overseas Chinese communities in Southeast Asia, such as Malaysia and Singapore, it is also the day when tossed raw fish salad is eaten for continued wealth and prosperity. For many Chinese Buddhists, it is another day to avoid meat, as the seventh day commemorates the birth of Sakra, Lord of the Devas in Buddhist cosmology, who is analogous to the Jade Emperor. On the eighth day, another family dinner is held to celebrate the eve of the birth of the Jade Emperor, the ruler of heaven. People typically return to work by the eighth day. Therefore, store owners will host a lunch or dinner for their employees, expressing gratitude for the work that they have done throughout the year. The ninth day is traditionally the birthday of the Jade Emperor of Heaven, and many people pray to the Taoist pantheon in thanks or gratitude. The day is commonly known as Ti Kong Dan and is especially important to Hokkiens. A prominent prerequisite offering is sugarcane. The 10th day, some celebrate the Jade Emperor's birthday on this day. We're going to skip to the 15th day. The 15th day of the new year is celebrated as the Lantern Festival. Rice dumplings, a sweet glutinous rice ball brewed in a soup, are eaten on this day. Candles are lit outside houses as a way to guide wayward spirits home. Families may walk the streets carrying lanterns, which sometimes have riddles attached to or written on them as a tradition. In China and Malaysia, this day is celebrated by individuals seeking a romantic partner, akin to Valentine's Day. Nowadays, single women write their contact numbers on mandarin oranges and throw them into a river or lake, after which single men collect the oranges and eat them. The taste serves as an indication of their potential love life. A sweet taste represents good fortune, while a sour taste represents a less favorable outcome. This day marks the end of the Chinese New Year festivities. Traditional food. A reunion dinner is held on New Year's Eve, during which family members gather for a celebration. The venue will usually be in or near the home of the most senior member of the family. The New Year's Eve dinner is very large and sumptuous, and traditionally includes dishes of meat, namely pork and chicken, and fish. Most reunion dinners often also feature a communal hot pot, which is believed to signify the coming together of the family members for the meal. Reunion dinners, particularly in southern regions, may prominently feature specialty meats, wax-cured meats such as duck and Chinese sausage, and seafood, or lobster and abalone, that are usually reserved for special occasions. In most areas, fish is included, but not eaten completely, and the remainder is stored overnight. As the Chinese phrase, "may there be surpluses every year," sounds the same as "let there be fish every year." 8 individual dishes are served to reflect the belief in good fortune being associated with the number. If in the previous year a death was experienced in the family, 7 dishes are served. Other traditional foods consist of noodles, fruits, dumplings, spring rolls, and tangguan, which are also known as sweet rice balls. Each dish served during Chinese New Year represents something special. The noodles used to make longevity noodles are usually very thin, long wheat noodles, which are longer than normal noodles, and are usually fried and served on a plate, or boiled and served in a bowl with their broth. The noodles symbolize the wish for a long life. The fruits that are typically selected would be oranges, tangerines, and pomelos, as they are round and golden in color, symbolizing fullness and wealth. The pronunciations of these Chinese words are said to harbor luck and prosperity, such as the Chinese pronunciation for orange, which sounds the same as the Chinese for success. The pomelo, which is believed to bring constant prosperity, also has a pronunciation that symbolizes good luck. The Chinese word for pomelos sounds similar to have. Disregarding its tone, however, it sounds exactly like again. Certain Chinese characters can represent luck as well, such as the Chinese word for tangerine, which contains the Chinese character for luck. Additionally, dumplings and spring rolls symbolize wealth, whereas sweet rice balls symbolize family togetherness. Red envelopes may be distributed during the reunion dinner to the immediate family. These packets contain money in the amount that reflects good luck and honorability. Several foods are consumed to usher in wealth, happiness, and good fortune. Several of the Chinese food names are homophones for words that would also mean good things. Many families in China still follow the tradition of eating only vegetarian food on the first day of the new year, as it is believed that doing so will bring good luck into their lives for the whole year. Like many other New Year's dishes, certain ingredients have names that relate to long life, prosperity, or wealth also take precedence over others. Practices: red envelopes. Traditionally, red envelopes or red packets, alternatively known as lei si, particularly in Cantonese-speaking areas, are passed out during the Chinese New Year's celebrations, from married couples or the elderly to unmarried juniors or children. During this period, red packets are literally money to suppress evil spirits. According to legend, a demon named Sui would pat a child on the head 3 times on New Year's Eve, causing the child to have a fever. In response, parents wrapped coins in red paper and placed them next to their children's pillows. When Sui approaches, the flash of the coins scare him away. Since then, on every New Year's Eve, parents have wrapped coins in red paper to protect their children. Red packets almost always contain money, usually varying from a couple of dollars to several hundred. Chinese superstitions favor amounts that begin with even numbers, such as 8, a homophone for wealth, and 6, a homophone for smooth, but not the number 4, which is a homophone for death, and is, as such, considered unlucky in Asian culture. Odd numbers are also avoided as they are associated with cash given during funerals. It is also customary for bills placed inside the red envelope to be new. Red packets are generally given by married couples to the younger unmarried members of the family. It is customary and polite for children to wish elders a happy new year and a new year of happiness, health, and good fortune before accepting the red envelope. Red envelopes are then kept under the pillow and slept on for 7 nights after the Chinese New Year, before opening, because that symbolizes good luck and fortune. Combating demons. In ancient times, there was a monster named Sui, which came out on New Year's Eve and touched the heads of sleeping children. The child would be frightened by the touch and wake up to have a fever. The fever would eventually cause the child to have intellectual disabilities. Hence, families would light up their homes and stay awake, leading to the tradition of shou sui, a guard against sui harming their children. A folklore tale of Sui is about an elderly couple with a precious son. On the night of the New Year's Eve, since they were afraid that Sui would come, they took out 8 pieces of copper coins to play with their son to keep him awake. Their son was very sleepy, however, so they let him go to sleep after placing a red paper bag containing the copper coins under the child's pillow. The 2 older children also stayed with him for the whole night. Suddenly, the doors and windows were blown open by a strange wind, and even the candlelight was extinguished. It turned out to be a Sui. When the Sui was going to reach out and touch the child's head, the pillow suddenly brightened with the golden light, and the Sui was scared away. So the exorcism effect of the red paper wrapped copper money spread in China. Another tale recounts a village terrorized by a huge demon that none could defeat. Numerous warriors and statesmen had attempted, but to no avail. A young orphan, wielding a magical sword passed down from his ancestors, confronted and battled the demon, ultimately slaying it. With the demon vanquished, peace returned to the village, and in gratitude the elders bestowed upon the courageous young man a red envelope filled with money as a token of appreciation for his valor, and for freeing the village from the demon's menace. Mythology. According to legend, Chinese New Year started with combating a mythical beast called Nian, a beast that lives under the sea or in the mountains that looks like a lion with horns. During the annual spring festival, the Nian would eat villagers, especially children, in the middle of the night. One year, all the villagers decided to hide from the beast. An older man appeared before the villagers went into hiding, and said that he would stay the night and would get revenge on the Nian. The old man put up red papers and set off firecrackers. The day after, the villagers came back to their town and saw that nothing had been destroyed. They assumed that the old man was a deity who had come to save them. The villagers then understood that the Nian was afraid of the color red and loud noises. As the new year approached, the tradition grew. The villagers wore red clothing, hung red lanterns and spring scrolls on windows and doors, and used the firecrackers and drums to frighten away the Nian. From then on, the Nian never came to the village again. The Nian was eventually captured by Hongjun Laozhu, an ancient Taoist monk. The horse. The horse is the 7th of the 12th year cycle of animals that appears in the Chinese zodiac, related to the Chinese calendar. There is a long tradition of the horse in Chinese mythology. Certain characteristics of the horse nature are supposed to be typical of or to be associated with either a year of the horse and its events, or in regard to the personality of someone born in such a year. The horse years are further split into cycles of 5 elements: fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. Horse aspects can be entered by other chronomatic factors or measures, such as hourly. The year of the horse is associated with the earthly branch symbol. History. The lunar calendar paved the sequence of the Chinese zodiac animals. This calendar can be traced back to the 14th century BC. Myths say that Emperor Hongdi, the first Chinese emperor, invented the Chinese lunar calendar, which follows the cycles of the moon. The seventh in the cycle is the horse. One account is that the order of the beings of the year is due to their order in competing in a contest of racing across a river, in the so-called Great Race. The race being to determine which creatures, in which order, would be namesakes of the 12-year cycle. The race was run and swum, and the finishing line being across a great river. The rat and the ox crossed easily enough, the rat hitchhiking on the ox's back. Those powerful swimmers, the tiger and dragon, had little problem, nor did the rabbit, with a little help from the dragon. The horse, an excellent runner, but not as good of a swimmer, would have been next, but the snake, having crossed the river by stowing away on the horse's hoof, doing a sudden dismount, gained the finish line just in front of a startled horse. Thus it is said, despite the animal's general swiftness, the horse finished the race only in the rank of 7th position. The custom of pairing an animal with a year in a 12-year cycle can be traced back to at least the Han Dynasty, and there are many legends and folktales surrounding the 12 zodiac animals, which are often depicted in East Asian art and design. A group of Chinese figures in the Victoria and Albert Museum's collection shows the zodiac animals with human bodies but animal heads. This way of portraying them became popular in the Tang Dynasty. In Chinese culture, the horse is known for its energetic and dynamic nature. It symbolizes vitality, speed, and perseverance. People born in the year of the horse are believed to possess similar traits, such as being hard-working, warm-hearted, and independent. Year of the Horse folklore historically paints the year of the fire horse, also called the year of the red horse, as one of extreme volatility and unpredictability, leading to fears that it will bring danger or social turbulence. However, traditional Chinese wisdom offers another perspective through the concept of crisis. Written in this word, the character for danger exists alongside the character for opportunity. This duality reminds us that even in the most volatile of times, there is always a chance for evolution and growth. While the fire horse, also known as the red horse, may bring the heat of rapid change, it also illuminates the path for transformation. Pony Island is a video game developed and published by Canadian indie developer Daniel Mullins. As a metafictional game, the game has the player interact with what appears to be an old arcade cabinet game called Pony Island. The player soon discovers the game is corrupted by Lucifer himself, who is trying to claim the player's soul. The player is aided by the soul of a previous player, who helps the player access Pony Island's internal programming to get around the traps left by Lucifer and save not only his soul, but the many tormented souls that are trapped within the game's code. Pony Island is officially described as a suspense puzzle game in disguise. At the center is an action game called Pony Island. It is a simple 2D side-scrolling game where the player uses the left mouse button to make a pony jump to clear gates as it moves forward by itself. Similar to the concept of frog fractions, however, that is only a starting point for a much broader experience. As the game breaks down, the player slowly delves deeper into the game that turns out to be an arcade machine devised by a sinister force. The game Pony Island is a recurring theme that returns in many forms, with different protagonists, colors, and enemies, but also improved abilities such as wings to float in the air and a laser to destroy creatures. The player has to investigate the computer running the game, revealing secrets by manipulating items, text chatting with the creator of the game, as well as the entity that wants to free the trapped souls, browsing documents and programs, logging into different accounts, and so on. It is the adventure aspect of the game, which is largely linear, but requires the player to interact with the interface and the many errors and code in unusual ways to progress, often deliberately breaking game mechanics. There is also another dimension to the game, to find out who the protagonist is playing the arcade cabinet. Optionally, 4 hidden visions can be unlocked. There are 24 hidden arcade tickets in the game, and collecting them all leads to a different ending. Another important game element is the pseudo-hacking. Many moments in the game let the player break the rules devised by the creator by hacking directly into the game code. This is presented as a puzzle sequence, with a series of instructions performed in a continuous loop. The player has to drag icons to manipulate the process, duplicating them, guiding them in certain directions, using a teleporter to skip or repeat certain instructions, and so on, until a goal is met. These are puzzle sequences based on logic, and no programming knowledge is required. The game often deliberately breaks the fourth wall and attempts to confuse the player. It was originally created as a game jam entry for Ludum Dare 31, with the theme Entire Game on One Screen, in 2014, and was then developed into a full game. Gameplay: Pony Island is presented as a crude arcade game. It is primarily a point-and-click style adventure game, frequently referencing other user interface metaphors, such as a simulated operating system. The player must explore the internal programming of Pony Island arcade game in order to progress. At times, the player must play Pony Island, a type of endless runner game with shoot-'em-up elements, guiding a pony character through a grassy valley, avoiding obstacles and shooting enemies that might attack it. The programming of Pony Island, as well as the operating system, may be accessed by clicking on portals that appear on the screen, presenting the player with simplified pseudocode along with one or more boxes and visual instruction commands, such as move down, move left, or repeat. On these screens, the player will be required to reorder the visual instructions as to modify how the programming will execute. This will either bypass any corruptions in the game's code, or in some cases cheat, for example raising the experience points in the game, in order to progress. The person that the player talks to within the game on Messenger creates portals to the core files, of which can be interacted with. Development: Prior to working on Pony Island, Daniel Mullins had just graduated from college and attempted to launch a game, Catch Monsters, through Kickstarter during November 2014, but failed to raise sufficient funds, and instead found a programming job, though still wanted to develop games. Pony Island was primarily developed during a 48-hour Ludum Dare game jam in December of 2014, in which the theme was Entire Game on One Screen. The game placed high in both the Ludum Dare's mode and humor categories, and was featured in Zoe Quinn's Top 10 Games of 2014. Inspired by the positive reception, Mullins prepared the game on his off time from his job for release through Steam Greenlight, and subsequently published the game January 2016. Mullins wanted to create a game that defied players' expectations from standard game interfaces, and flipping them upside down. Mullins had been intrigued with games that are dark and mysterious, but also wanted to create something that felt like it was not meant to be played. Part of this last goal was accomplished by minimizing the amount of instruction that the game provided, particularly once the player began to reveal internal code workings. but built these systems on familiar interfaces so the player could have intuition on what to do. For example, in the pseudo-code sections of the game, he found that adding iconography for locks and keys for the commands the players could manipulate helped them to understand how to interact with the code without direct instruction. At the same time, Mullins wrote the language of the pseudocode to make the programming commands seem ominous, as to make the player seem like they were toying with a system that one may not fully understand. Mullins also built in the fake error screens and messages through Steam software that appeared to come from the player's friends, to further the unease that he wanted the players to feel while playing the game. Mullins attributed part of the game's success to the popular streamer PewDiePie, who had early on asked Mullins if he could post a Let's Play of Pony Island. Mullins believed this helped him get the game voted on by players for Steam Greenlight. I chose to play Pony Island because it is Year the Horse. The gameplay elements such as combating demons, playing as a laser-breathing pony, and uncovering truth for change parallel the themes of the fire horse spirit during the Chinese New Year. This was my first time playing this game, but I remember seeing some Let's Plays in the past. I also think I may have messed up the experience and the game length by opening the options screen from the start of my gameplay, instead of hitting the start button. In my defense, I usually mess around in the options menu before I start playing games, when option menus are available. This game is truly a gem if you like lore puzzle games. As for the Lego set, I wish the movement of the horses was a little more dynamic, and the representation of the fire horse should be reddish and not black. Although I do see that the contrast of the flames looks cool on a black horse, black is actually the color that represents water, the opposing element, and an unlucky color for the fire horse. So if I want to abide by the cultural mythos and maximize my luck for this year, I should replace the black pieces with a color ranging between orange to maroon. Total build time for this set, 4 hours, 3 minutes, 23 seconds, which means you could watch 11 episodes of Junie Tyson Zodiac War. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Remember to like, subscribe, share, ring that bell, all the things for the YouTubes. Thank you.